Welcome everyone to Coffee and an Interview. I'm Jacqueline Pena, and today I have the pleasure of being with someone who has tons of positive energy, Donovan Campbell, who's a creativity and life coach, and he's going to talk about the power of songwriting and how we're all songwriters. And of course, I'm sure you're making the same face I made when he first said that, but let me tell you, the philosophy is powerful, and I think we can learn a lot from Donovan. So, Donovan, welcome to the show. Thank you for being here today.
Hi, Jacqueline. Thanks for having me and your program. I'm excited to be on your program to have some fun, some inspiration, some motivation, and some education. And I hope that your audience will feel the energy and will be blessed from your program.
Oh, thank you so much. So you're gonna hear me say a few times. There are those life coach skills. Sorry, coming from Donovan, and there's that example of the positive energy he brings as a life coach, a creative and life coach. Today we're both rested. I have a cold, so I'm sorry to our listeners if you hear me cough once in a while. And Donovan, today's a very special day. I think we should share. I mean, I'm so happy you're here with us, but I feel a little guilty.
You don't need to feel no guilty. I mean, that's okay. I am happy to be a part of your program and to celebrate with you and hope that your audience will feel a celebration energy also. So, yes, today is a very special day. My wife and myself, we are celebrating our eighth wedding anniversary. And yeah, I am here, happy to be here.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And we're talking about songwriting and the power of songwriting, but you've had an interesting career journey that got you to the point where you are a creative and life coach, or creativity and life coach, I should say. So
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about that journey so we can understand your experience and how you got to this conversation and this perspective today.
Okay, thanks for that question. So, for me, a few years ago, when I was like age 14 or 15, going to high school, I I start to write chorus. At the time, I didn't know how to write a chorus. I didn't know how to write a verse. I didn't know how to write a complete song. But over the years, I keep on practicing till I get how to write a chorus. I know how to write a verse and a complete song. And from there, it leads to now writing a song is very easy for me. To now, I become an author of two music book and a music online course.
Wow. Okay. So start at the age of 14 and here you are today. Now, you currently are in Canada, but you're originally from Jamaica. Where were you born in Jamaica?
Okay, I'm from the parish of Clarendon in Jamaica, in the Caribbean. So in Jamaica, there are like 14 parishes. So whenever persons go to Jamaica, there's going to be either in one of those parishes. So I'm from the parish of Clarendon in
Okay.
Jamaica.
Jamaica. And I thought that was fascinating when we first met because I want to go back to Jamaica. I miss Jamaica. I used to teach at the University College of the Caribbean through another university though in Kingston. And so
Yeah, yeah,
Jamaica's near
yeah,
and dear to my heart, and I miss spending time there, and I would just miss my days there, and
yeah.
so this is taking me down memory lane, talking
I
about
know, I
careers
know,
and
I know,
creativity.
I know.
So tell us a little bit about this power of creativity in music and songwriting that is part of your life philosophy. Because you said you're a songwriter and you're a songwriter, and I'm like, "Oh, I don't know if I'm a songwriter." Tell me a
Um,
little bit more about this philosophy you have.
I am a songwriter for over 25 years today as I speak. And as a, s- and I'm also a gospel recording artist. And as before, I'm an author of two music book, and I just finished my first online music course last month, and all of them are available on my website that we can talk about later on. But you know, people love music for several reasons.
Hmm.
And music is a part of people's life. People listen to music for for various reasons. Some people listen music while driving, going to work. Some people listen music at events. Some persons listen music in their house, in the bathroom, while taking a shower. People listen music for all stuff. But for me, I believe that all of us people are songwriters,
Mm-hmm.
whether they believe it, yes or not, because a song, a song is storytelling, and what is in the story? It's words, and we all do um, use words daily, nightly. We use words into a text message. We use words into an email. We use words even when we go to the grocery store. What we see on the product, words. And
Mm-hmm.
all of those words that I just said a while ago, those words can be into a song.
Interesting how you said songwriting and music is about storytelling.
Hmm.
So I want to come back to that idea of storytelling and the power of storytelling,
Yeah.
and then later look at words being part of a lot of the things that we do every day. But let's go back to storytelling. That's a very powerful concept there. Why is that so important, and what role does storytelling play in our lives?
Okay, so um with the storytelling, as I was saying earlier too, is that the story can be a reality story, or it can be a makeup story. It can be
Mhm.
fiction or non-fiction, right? So, but it's all telling a story to the listeners or to the readers, for persons who read books or read novels and all of those stuff.
Mhm.
So it is painting a picture on the wall, and by
Okay.
painting that picture, the story can be positive and it can also be negative.
That's a good point, and it can have a different impact. So I know for me, when I'm going through something, I might want to hear a certain kind of music and sing
There
it.
you go. There you go.
Sometimes I'm singing and maybe a little crying. Sometimes when I do the long drives, I do a lot of driving up and down the East Coast, and I want to reflect, and I do that quietly. But then sometimes I want music to sing along to that generates new ideas.
Mm-hmm.
As a creative writer, as a writer,
Mm-hmm.
music is also tied to my writing. So if I'm working on one book, there's a certain playlist that goes with what that work I'm doing. I'm not writing about the songs I'm listening to,
There you
but the
go.
power of those words and that
There you go.
rhythm are connected to the story I'm telling, and
There you
I
go.
can't separate them.
There you
So I
go.
do see that power when I work out. I
There you
need
go.
motivation.
There
Uh,
you go.
and there's certain kind of music that gets me excited, running and thinking at the same time. So there's a power in the songwriting and the words. And then
Mm-hmm.
there's another level when you combine the songwriting itself with the music or
With the instruments.
the instruments. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very powerful. So, how else do you use songwriting creativity? We're talking about storytelling. Tell me a
Mhm.
little bit more about some of the things you've seen or done, or how you've used this power of storytelling or of being a songwriter, or you've seen that with some of the work you do with students or clients.
Okay, for me personally, where it all started for me, as I said before, I, for me, at the time when I started to write, learn how to write a song, it's all about um, expressing my feelings, my emotion on a paper. And by doing that, I realized that the story that it is so effective when you can tell your own personal story and persons can relate to it. So one of my one of my one of my what I call it now, songwriting tips, that is in
Mhm.
my second music book, that is called 10 plus songwriting structures. So one of my tips is that I gave that to write music that persons can relate to,
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah.
because a lot of musicians, a lot of songwriters and music artists, they are the main one, in the writing aspect. They are writing music, but it's not relatable. They're writing for now, but not person cannot relate it to it next week or for years to come.
Hmm.
So it yeah, so from that angle, I just write my own story and make it be practical. And that's what I encourage persons to do. Write songs that persons can relate to.
I like that idea of relatability. What can people relate to and putting that in words? I'm going to kind of bring some of our ideas together because you talked about how we use words in our texts and our emails when we write. As a writer, I find writing is a great release. I also been
Mm-hmm,
looking at how can I use my writing to share some of my ideas and thoughts with others and empower or provide tools for others to be empowered, stories, voices,
mm-hmm,
experiences that they can say, wow, I understand this. Someone else
mm-hmm,
does this. What a great strategy I can take away. So I'm always looking at writing in that way.
mm-hmm,
Some of us look at music that way.
mm-hmm,
What can
mm-hmm,
I learn from this song? What am I learning? What's the emotion? Can I relate to this? Did I learn
mm-hmm,
something new? It's a very
mm-hmm.
powerful connection piece of with written words versus those you're listening to, which are in writing for someone to sing afterwards.
Yeah, yeah.
And then let's make a bigger leap. The power of words, bigger leap. Maybe someone who can write in the written format
Mm-hmm,
and needs a creative release for some
mm-hmm,
reason. And we'll talk about benefits of trying new things and creative releases in a moment. Can take that skill set and move it over to some songwriting.
mm-hmm.
And the power of being able to, and I like how you say, we're all songwriters without even knowing it.
Yeah, yeah.
We really can all be songwriters,
We
different
all,
levels, but we can all be if we
we
if we
all,
use language in some way.
yeah, we all. As I said before, for me, two things I would say. I agree what you said, and I would say definitely writing is therapy for me,
Hmm.
and I believe that writing is also therapy for you too, because you
Yes.
speak about listening to music while you write. So, right there, you have some natural therapy right there, and by you listening to music and write. It your writing flow becomes easy and naturally by you listening to music and you write. And it's the same thing for me too. Writing is just therapy for me, writing music. And next thing that I will say too is that um, I make things so easy,
Hmm.
especially within my my music book and my online course, especially the 10 plus songwriting structure book, where I give the structure or the templates. Some person would say all they have to do is just writing the structure, put the words into the structure, and there comes you have a complete song.
Awesome. So in the work you do, you guide those of us who want to take the leap
Hmm.
from written words that we use for creative release, like short
Hmm.
stories or something like that, to using our words for storytelling through music or through
Hmm.
songwriting. And you help bridge that gap with some
Yeah.
tools that you provide.
Yeah, that second music book and even my online course, I go in depth, because it's an online course. It's on the pricey side for the course, but I have the 10 plus songwriting structure
Mhm.
ebook that is on my page. It is on a low side where cost is concerned, but the course I go in depths. I go
Yeah.
in the deep
Yeah, and don't worry, listeners, if you're curious to see some of the songwriting materials
or
or tools
on my
that the
side. Yeah.
yeah, the links are all in the description of this episode, and we
Yeah.
can focus on strategies for us. So, what are some strategies? What are some tips you would give us if we decide on working on a creative outlet, a new creative outlet, and moving to songwriting? So, what are some tips you can give us for those of us looking for new creative outlets, looking to try songwriting? Can you give us a few tips?
As I give one already,
Hmm.
in terms of write music that persons can relate to. Um, I will give another tips also that since songwriting is a storytelling,
Hmm.
there is no right or wrong way to tell your story.
Ah.
And the next thing I would say also is that even though a song, this is my definition, a song is an expression of the mind, the
Mm-hmm.
heart,
Mm-hmm.
and emotions um, on a paper or in a written or into a recording audio. So it can be on a paper and it can be on an audio.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just tell your story.
I
Be
like
free to tell your story
that's
because
a
there is because it is your story. Your
mm-hmm.
story, especially just like what we're talking, Jacqueline. Your story is your story. I can't tell your story for you. I have to listen to you.
Mm-hmm.
So you express your story, and it's the same thing for me, and it's the same thing I'm saying to the audience. When they get the structure, if they, they want to go that route, the structure is there. Tell your story.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
Yes.
This idea of telling your story.
Hmm.
For listeners, I think the power of story is really important. It's a
Hmm.
concept I work out of.
Hmm.
And telling your story first to yourself. So writing it out, you might not have
Hmm.
anyone else reading it
Hmm.
or listening to it if it's spoken or sung, but just getting your story out, words in some way,
Hmm.
is very educational and very healing for
Yeah.
oneself. So that's the power of story. We can learn and heal by telling
Hmm.
our own story, even if it's just to ourselves, but we're processing it by putting it out there.
Yeah.
And then there's power in sharing our story,
Hmm.
because the
There
power
you go.
story there, yeah, you
There
share
you
your
go.
story and
There you
people
go.
listen and they
There you go.
connect and they can learn
Yeah.
new tools. It's the concept behind coffee and an interview itself is the stories and learning from great individuals doing work out there.
There you
So I
go.
think that there's a lot we can gain just from writing our story. And
Hmm.
then if you want a creative outlet, a new one, for me, I like to write on paper or on the computer. It could be
Hmm.
in the songwriting format instead of
Hmm.
the short story book format. And that
Hmm.
just opens up new areas of reflection and
I'll
creativity.
tell you.
You
I
flip.
tell you. I tell
Yeah.
I tell you, I am because I relate to everything that you're saying, and I agree 100% and beyond, because it is so for me it is so mind blowing by just writing and telling my story on a paper or on my phone. Sometimes I write the song on my phone and going into the studio, recording studio, and to record and just to see how amazing how it finally comes out, and by me sharing it with persons, they're saying they're so happy to hear, they thank me for my music and so forth, and it's all a story.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just so humble for me to see how powerful storytelling is. And I agree with you that our story is not for us alone. I remember a lady told my wife that your story is not for you alone, because your story will be healing for some people, it will
Mm-hmm.
be comforting for some people, it will be a transformation message for some people to push them into a next chapter of their life. And when she made that statement, I was so wowed. And she's so true because I am experiencing it. But looking from that angle that she shared, that our story is not for us alone, our story need to be shared with people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the trust. Yeah, our story needs to be shared, and it's just difficult for some of us sometimes. And the transformation, no power of the
Mm.
story. So I think
Mhm.
that's a great takeaway. Then there are other benefits to trying on new creative outlets. A lot of it is using different parts of your brain, so it kind of works against cognitive decline, like dementia, things like that. Learning a new language, learning music, trying something
Mhm.
different creatively. These things help keep your mind sharp. Whether forget cognitive decline, it just keeps you sharper, trying new things. And I
Yeah.
think that that's the beauty of taking and using the power story. But if you're
Mhm.
ready, taking it to a different creative outlet rather than the short story or the novel, let's try a song instead.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure, for sure. We have person will have more clarity, and definitely they will develop and grow once they, do that and practice it
Mm-hmm.
regularly. Yeah, because as I said before, we all are songwriters.
Yep.
But,
We're all
you know,
songwriters, and writing is a great outlet.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I definitely encourage our listeners to try it. If you've I definitely do believe in the power of words, that
Mm,
creative outlet. So I definitely
mhm,
encourage you to try it. If you decide to switch over to something like songwriting instead of short stories or journaling, I do a lot of work around journaling. Definitely, I encourage you to try that as well. Nothing wrong with all the other outlets or ways that we use, because I'm a journaler. I publish the reflection books that are about journaling and reflecting on daily lessons learned. And I also do creative and non creative writing and nonfiction writing. But there are other ways to put that out there. And
mhm.
if you love music, there's no reason why you can't try it, no matter what age. But it doesn't
It's
matter
not,
how old
it's
you are.
not, it's not, it's not if they love music. We all love music.
Yeah, it's when you embrace it.
We all love music for different reasons.
Yeah, and I think that's where the power of words. I think we love music more than we might like the writing sometimes. There is power in music and power in
Yeah,
songwriting.
powerful, powerful, very powerful.
Wow, this has been very interesting conversation, Donovan. I mean, most people don't know this, but I used to like writing lyrics, song lyrics as a kid. It was a great outlet. And
There you
so
go.
they
It's
might not
me.
be the best songs, but they were powerful and very healing for me as a child, a
Mhm,
great outlet for the things that I was trying to figure out in life. And so, there are probably over 100 of these songs that I could hear the music in my head, and I learned a little bit about music, but it's all the lyrics, right?
mhm,
And so that's that transformation and that healing power of
mhm.
writing and
Yeah,
songwriting.
writing, songwriting. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I definitely appreciate the conversation. We've talked about a couple of different things when it comes to writing as an outlet and relating and connections, and
Mhm,
how songwriting and music play a role in our lives and in different
mhm,
parts of our day. I wanted to see if you had any final thoughts, words of advice, or
mhm.
strategies or anything that you might want to share with us that I didn't get to ask you about.
Okay, thank you for that question. Um, what I've discovered last year, and that's what led me to write the songwriting structure
Mhm,
ebook, and from the book to the online course.
mhm,
And my first music book, it's all about I'm speaking my experience of over 20 years as a songwriter.
mhm,
And I also did a survey by different genre of musician,
mhm.
and then that result from the survey and a blank survey is in that book also. So that's my first music book. 22 plus years writing music. It's all about my story, as we're talking about story and songwriting. And then my second music book, it's focused on structures. And my online course, I focus on the four mostly used songwriting structure by all genre of musician.
Ah.
Four. And I know, just like how you say, wow, your eyes going to be open even more, and your audience here is going to open even more. What I also discovered is that there are four directions on Earth. You have the east, the north, the south, the west.
Yep. Mhm,
And also, I said a square, there's four sides to a square or a rectangle. And I
mhm.
look at it from that angle, and I said, interesting. Four mostly use songwriting structure, and they are alike, but they are different.
Say
And
that one more.
I look also that the song, the word song itself, there is four letters.
Yep, SONG. Uh-huh. So you're making all the connections. Got it.
So I'm just letting you know and the audience know that there are four mostly songwriting structures by all genre of musicians. You name them, and if there's a new genre create today or tomorrow or years to come, they're still going to stick into the four. But
Mm,
in my 10 plus songwriting structure, I I give beyond the four. But in my online course, I share this four specific,
okay.
and I give bonus also in my online course that I don't share in the books, but is
Okay.
only in the online course.
Got it. Got it. So if you're interested in learning about song structures and
Mhm.
this little mystery we have going on with a four that are used, but there are others that you can learn. You have a
Yeah.
couple of different places where you can learn that if you decide to dabble in the songwriting side for
Mhm.
that creative release or that creative outlet,
Mhm.
or looking at the healing power of words, whether it's
Mhm.
the written word for creative or non-creative writing, or if it's for
Mhm.
songwriting. Got it. But we're talking about specifically songwriting. Very
Yeah.
interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I encourage everyone to definitely look at writing and the power of writing. And if
Mhm.
you're interested in knowing more about the power of songwriting and that creativity and that release and all the other powers that come along with that, definitely dive into the resources in the description. And with that, I want to just take a moment to thank Donovan for being a part of the show today and talking to us about the power of songwriting and how
Mhm.
we're all songwriters without even knowing it, and the
Mhm.
power of songwriting in our lives that we can use as we keep transitioning to different phases of our lives. So, Donovan, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you, Jacqueline, for having me. And persons can follow me on social media, or they can follow me or message me on social media. My Facebook page is Coach Donovan DC, and my Instagram page is Coach underscore Donovan DC. And if person go into Google search and just probably just type it in, all of my social media will pop up. Just type in Coach Donovan DC. Facebook will pop up, um, Instagram will pop up, and my my website will pop up too from there.
Okay, perfect. So you got some contact information here. Information is also in the description. And no matter what, just remember the power of words. The power of
Powerful,
words.
powerful.
Mm-hmm. The
Yeah.
power. Thank you all for listening. Donovan, thank you again for being on the show. And listeners, thank you for being a part of Coffee and an Interview and learning about the power of words, specifically through songwriting with us today. I appreciate you all, and we'll see you at the next episode.